Hello everyone and welcome to a second royal reading today here at MadWorldTarot, and a strange article in the New York Post that I am reading on this afternoon, and it is headed "Diana would have understood Meghan Markle, but as a true aristocrat she would have been horrified by one big thing." And no surprise, the one big thing is the tacky merching. It's a strange article. It's a real hit piece on Meghan Markle's aspirations as Diana too. I'm curious to know who and why, who's behind it and why this needed to appear, because it doesn't really have anything to do with anything except that maybe there's a Netflix documentary coming our way, a Diana documentary. That's the only possible justification for this. What is more interesting about this article is the way guest speaker is losing her mind in the comments section. So just to go a little bit more into the article, it's worth a read. It's quite spicy. Diana would have understood Harry and Meghan airing their dirty laundry, basically because she did it too. But their pious, and I'm quoting, perma-victim charade in California would have disappointed her. And another quote, she would no doubt have shuddered at the low-rent commercial hustle, from hawking jam to twerking to shop my shenanigans. And it goes on in that kind of mode. As I say, quite startling and brutal, and guest speaker is really losing her marbles in the comments and expressing absolute venom towards, as she calls them, Willie and Kitty and the mistress, namely Queen Camilla, and trying very hard to still equate herself with Princess Diana, because in my opinion, guest speaker is, if not actually Madame in Montecito, then very close to Madame in Montecito, almost sort of Barbara Cartlandish scribe. That's the mental image that I have. And there are language tells as well. For instance, I doubt Kitty would have gotten in had Diana been around, things like that. So we're going to have a look at this Diana thing again today with the Soulless Tarot. This, in my opinion, obsession with Diana. I want to know first of all the who and why of this article, because it does seem rather strange. Then I'm going to ask about the Diana obsession from Meghan's point of view way back when, and how it's going now, because now nobody is falling for it. And she's having, in my opinion, or guest speaker, let's just say guest speaker is having to defend that association like crazy in the comments section of the New York Post. Doesn't appear for anything else really anymore, but this rose to the bait massively, and the venom, it was paragraphs and chapters. And then we'll ask about Harry and how he maybe fell under the spell of Diana too. And is he still drinking the Kool-Aid? Now, I want to know outcome, impact on their marriage of possibly the veneer slipping. Not the veneers. I think those slip as well, just in my opinion. But the veneer slipping and mental health of this fixation, which is why I have the Soulless Tarot on the tarot table. It can't be healthy, in my inexpert opinion, to try so hard to embody someone else's personality and esprit and all of that. You should just, be yourself and live your own life, basically. I would say is a good recipe for mental health. All my opinion, of course, and this is just tarot for fun and entertainment. It is just all my opinion and speculation, and I just read energy here, and a disclaimer in the box below. Let's see what's going on with the Soulless Tarot. And we've got the Five of Swords, and it's in reverse. There's the conflict, the clapbacks, all the fighting on social media in the comments section. A New York Post must be rubbing its hands with glee at all the engagement, because the Parkle articles are rapidly falling out of favor. No one cares anymore. We're here for the final little scene, basically. at this point. But Five of Swords, the fighting, the clapbacks, the conflict, also the own inner conflict, the own mental conflict in that card, and in reverse, losing. And guest speaker was taking a beating in the comments, really was. Got a few talking points, which is why I say it could be a Barbara Cartland kind of scenario, if not Madame herself, then someone very close who's got the talking points. This is my personal speculation. I'm imagining the scenario for fun and entertainment purposes, but the talking points get repeated and repeated and repeated, and there is no ability to adapt and to respond to what people are actually presenting in the comments. But interestingly, that's something like the criticism people are aiming at with Love Meghan, and Meghan's inability to engage in natural repartee with her guests on her show, allegedly. Heart of the reading. Heart of the reading is the Page of Wands in reverse. This is the bad news. It's a hit piece on her. She feels, I would believe, with that energy. Page of Wands is news, is PR, is the little adventurer going off to seek their fortune when it's upright in reverse, failed to find their fortune, and also getting a bit of a beating in the press and in the comments section, and not really knowing how to fight back. How do you fight back? She wheeled out the kids, she wheeled out Doria, but very old video of Doria, kids the back of their heads, who cares? What's left? There has been surfing. What left? What has she got left? The Diana thing, but it's not going very well. So the who and the why. Who is behind this article? Ooh, the devil. Wow. Now, and that's not her. That's not guest speaker. That's not Madame. For once. That's interesting. That is so interesting. Someone, somewhere, has decided to beat Meghan at her own game. Five of Swords in reverse. Five of Swords in reverse. And she loses. That's the underlying energy. It sits under all of this. She loses. Someone has decided that they are going to just do what she does. Send out hit pieces. Takedowns. I know who I most likely speculate is the someone. Not going to name names out here, but you can speculate to your heart's content in the comments, of course. Just by the by, it's not directly relevant. Okay, no, I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. Interesting that energy should show up, because I think she's in big trouble if that decision has been taken that we need to take her down now. There's all kinds of possibilities. The someone could be a lot closer than some of the someones that I'm thinking who are much further away. Interestingly. Anyway, let's move on to the why. Might clarify a bit of the who. And the why is the Eight of Wands. And the why is that there's a message going out. And the message, well, there's two things. A message going out that I think you'll try the Diana documentary. We might have our own Diana documentary that might have a whole different take on things, that might be quite a savage take on things, a bit like the tone of this article in the New York Post. That's one thing. The other thing about the Eight of Wands is that it's travel. And someone close to home is travelling quite soon back to Britain. And he's going to be there for the Well Child event and trying very hard to meet with Pa. So much going on in there, and all manner of speculation possible with those two cards. Interesting. So let's move on to Meghan and her Diana obsession, and let's take it to the past and just ask about it, whatever universe wants to tell us. We got the Ace of Pentacles and it's in reverse. She thought somehow that this was how she was going to find her fortune. Ace of Pentacles. This was the sure thing for her, because Ace of Pentacles is a sure thing. Your secure future. This is the path that you are on, the path paved with gold. Basically, it's in reverse. Didn't quite work out, did it? But definitely she thought that if she played this game, if she enacted this role as Diana II, it was a sure thing she was going to land very successfully. She was going to be successful beyond her wildest dreams, financially, which is interesting. It's all about the money, really. When you scratch the surface, that's the energy that shows up for me as a tarot reader. So how's she feeling now that no one has bought into this thing, and that even if she appears on a Netflix documentary dressed in Diana-esque clothes and wearing that watch that is forever in our faces, even when she's making bread and salad and I don't know what else she does, but there is that watch. Nobody's buying it. How's she feeling now about the whole thing? And we got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, another money card. Didn't pay off, did it? Didn't manage to monetize the association like she thought she was going to. Wow, really is all about the money, allegedly. And Ace of Pentacles for me is two things. Working royals in reverse, not a working royal. So she didn't manage to monetize her associations with the with the royals. She opted out of being a working royal. She couldn't hack it as a working royal. This article that I'm quoting from goes on at some length about how Diana was a monarchist, a royalist, and that she did that show up in the rain stuff that Princess Anne is allegedly complaining about that William doesn't want to do. She did that stuff day in and day out, year in and year out. She did it after she was no longer a working royal. And the article makes a point very vividly that Meghan Markle never bothered. Meghan Markle was too lazy to do that. She just wanted the money. And it's showing up here. The other thing about the Ace of Pentacles, now I've got to think, oh yes, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse is the grifter card. So it hasn't gone well for her. She's been called out for being a grifter, including in this article. They didn't use the actual word, but they used some choice words, which would have stung. And brought old guest speaker out to slash at everybody. 5 of Swords. So that's interesting how very much this is about money, not mummy. How about the has been in the beginning? In the beginning, when Mummy Diana was presented to him, Diana II, how did he feel? It's interesting. There's the rescue energy, the 10 of Swords. He's destroyed, he's defeated, he's finished. And then along comes this rather ghoulish figure. Interesting. This is a ghoulish tarot, of course, the Soulless Tarot, hovering over his corpse. And come to resurrect him, a bit like a zombie, though. And mold him in her image. Very interesting card. Just the visuals of this card have such a story to tell. And but anyway, we get the picture. That's how it felt for him. He was dead, and then along came this almost ghost-like figure. This with this rather spooky ability to channel Mummy Diana and raise him from the dead. In that 10 of Swords, how's he feeling now? Is he still under that so-called spell, or is he beginning to see things a little bit differently? What's going on? We got the 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups is for me about regret. He's still very, very sad about Mummy Diana. He always will be. He will carry that wound with him forever, in my opinion. Unfortunately, some wounds just don't really heal. But that 5 of Cups is just more remorse. I'm feeling energetically about the path that he went down with this whole rather ghoulish vibe over there. the yoga sessions where Mummy Diana spoke, and the collapsing over the headstone or whatever she did, and singing to the seals, and I don't know what else she did that she claimed, was all made her so profound. I don't think that he really sees it that way anymore, and I think that he's looking at what it's cost him, because the Five of Cups, you're very focused on what you've lost from a self-pitying perspective quite often, and not seeing what is still possible in your life. So he's fixated on the loss of his mother, and also on what possibly, this is how I'm reading it, it's just the way it's reading for me today, possibly that believing this Mummy Diana thing, Diana 2 thing, didn't have the best outcomes, cost him a lot. Impact on their marriage now, not when they first hooked up. Now, that possibly the Kool-Aid is no longer being drunk, shall we say, unfortunate expression. But how's it going now? Oh, the moon. Yeah, it's not happy. It is Mummy Diana's energy, the moon Diana, of course. But it's confusion, doubt, suspicion, fear, not feeling you're seeing clearly. That's his energy more than hers, because she is the one who's represented herself as this. She is the one who has that rather strange sickly light from the moon, a false light. It's a reflected light. Isn't it interesting that that has come to my mind looking at that card? It's not her own light. She is the sun inherently. She's in Leo. She is the sun, but she's playing this game of reflecting Diana's light from the afterlife. It's a very spooky game. It's a very dangerous game. It's a very deceitful game, in my opinion. And it has led the marriage into some strange byways and some strange and sinister events and choices, possibly. Things we all speculate about endlessly here, the things that go bump in the night and stuff like that. He's very confused. He's lost. He's lost in this maze of her making. Really, this is turning into quite a strange reading. It's a bit Halloween-y, and we're not there yet. So, final card is for Meghan. I want to know the impact this weird association that she's made has had on her mental health, or is having on her mental health. That is a mental health card, the moon. Cray energy in the moon, lunacy. What can you tell us? The Six of Swords, and it's in reverse. So instead of being able to move herself into a more peaceful phase in her life, a more healthy phase in her life, she's stuck. She's stuck in this negativity. We have the Five of Swords in reverse as our underlying energy, and then we move for her as an outcome of this, really. But from a mental health perspective, my inexpert opinion is a Six of Swords in reverse. It gets worse. Sixes are about harmony and balance, and the Six is in reverse. Imbalance, disharmony, some level of disturbance. I'm not diagnosing, I'm simply saying that instead of getting better, in my opinion, her mental health is getting worse as a result of this obsession, which, as I say, is being challenged and very, very overtly in the New York Post, in the article, also in the comments, being challenged all over the place. No one's buying it, and perhaps even Harry is no longer buying it, or at least has some doubts about what's really going on. He really is dumb, we have to say. Sorry, but that's just my opinion. She's in trouble. That ought to is my opinion. That's the reading. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow.